Bitch, give me
Are you
that.
serious?
Give me that fucking mic.
Who the fuck you been at, baby girl?
All right, I know I said I'd be on a regular upload schedule in my last video. I do plan on getting on a regular upload schedule from here on out. Regular upload schedule. But you guys, being a content creator is hard, especially when your mental health is holding on by a singular thread. However, excuses and all aside, I do have something for us to talk about today. As you all should know by now, I am an avid consumer of media, a lot of it by default being of the Caucasian variety. So when I stumble across something that features people who look like me or is just a more accurate representation of the world around us, then I make it a point to support it as much as I can. And they usually end up being amazing movies or TV shows, but they just don't get the recognition they deserve for whatever reason. And about a year and some change ago, I stumbled across a movie that I believe falls into this category, and it is called Selah and the Spades. So a quick synopsis of the movie describes it as 5 factions run the underground life of Haldwell School, a prestigious East Coast boarding school. At the head of the most powerful faction sits Selah Summers, walking the fine line between being feared and being loved. Now, even with that sort of vague synopsis, I was very much interested in seeing this movie for the simple fact of its writer/director, and that would be Tyrese Poe. Tyrese Poe being the writer and director of this movie was a major selling point for me. One, because I'm always in the business of supporting Black women, because if we don't do it, who's gonna? Right? Number 2, it's also because I am always here to support Black women and women of color and women in general, just being more hands-on when it comes to behind the scenes stuff in the industry, because there's definitely not enough Black women and women of color when it comes to being in front of the screen, but there's also not enough behind the scenes either, because representation means nothing if it's not accurate. And the only way for us to really make it accurate is if we are developing these characters ourselves. And that's why we get so many caricatures and archetypes of Black women, or we get Black women that are very one-dimensional or just use the plot. Or we get Black women that are very one-dimensional or just use the plot device because nobody knows how to write us or write us accurately. So having Black women behind the scenes is huge. So that's another reason why this was like a, yeah, obviously I'm going to watch this, especially when I saw that the 2 main characters were Black girls. I was like, oh yeah, like, duh, we're gonna watch this, because there's not enough of us writing for us. And I think that goes for Black people and our stories in general. I think that more Black people should be a part of our storytelling process, because you guys, it's very clear when there's a movie about the Black experience, at least from a Black person's perspective, it is very clear when a movie is about the Black experience and there's little to no Black people involved in the process of making that movie. It can just be seen through characters, through the dialogue, through the part that the Black person plays or the Black people in general play within the movie. It can be seen, we know. And that's where representation starts teetering on more harmful than helpful, because like I said, not all representation is good representation. So if we are seeing Black faces, but they're in the same sort of, you know, typical roles that you see them in, then are we really doing anything? Like, all it is further perpetuating what society already thinks of Black people to begin with. So do we really need that representation? I don't want it. And I think that the whole fine line between harmful and helpful thing is something that needs to be examined. I am saying all of this to say marginalized people should have the front seat when it comes to telling their own stories and showing and displaying their experiences. And they should have a hand in developing these characters so that people that look like these characters can relate more, instead of once again seeing themselves being put into a box. Which is why, bringing it full circle, I love Selah and the Spades, because we get a lot of multi-dimensions in this movie, and it's fantastic and beautiful to watch. Next, speaking of the characters, we will be talking about the actors playing these characters because the cast is fucking incredible. So the first actress I want to talk about is our dark-skinned Black woman lead, baby. The beautiful, talented Lovey Simone. So I was very excited to see Lovey at the front and center of this movie, being the titular character, because you just don't see enough dark-skinned Black women being the main character in a teen coming of age movie. You don't see it. You don't see it as much as we should be seeing it. It just warmed my heart so much just to see in the trailer, just to see her being there looking beautiful. Oh, I was hooked. I was like, oh yeah, we're watching it. Love Lovey Simone. She does a really, really good job with this movie. I really want to see her do some more things. I love her. And next we have Emmy Award winning actor Jharrel Jerome, Afro-Latino king, okay? I don't even have to tell you. If you've seen Moonlight or When They See Us, I don't even have to tell you about Jharrel Jerome. Did I mention that he won an Emmy? Okay, and while he isn't like the main character, he's in the main cast, but he's not like we're hyper focused on his character. He does really good with his role, which I didn't expect anything less. He's outstanding. Like I said, his work speaks for itself. He's great. Love you, Jharrel. Next, we have the other Black woman lead, which is Celeste O'Connor. Now, this was my first time seeing Celeste O'Connor in anything, and I did see that she was in that movie Freaky with Vince Vaughn, which I actually have been interested in seeing that, so I might look at that, if only for her, because I found out that she's in the cast. I think that she did a wonderful job. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say maybe this was her first movie or like her first big movie, which, I mean, good for her. Like, she did really fucking good. And I think that she definitely played up the shy girl coming into her shell thing really good. Like, I really enjoyed watching her. Both Selah and her character's name is Paloma. Both of them have this mysterious sort of energy, and I think they both played that really well, because I think both of them are like foreign to each other, and at least in the beginning. And so I really like how that was played by the both of them. Good chemistry with them too. I really liked seeing them on screen together, Celeste and Lovey. So shout out to Celeste. I'm gonna watch Freaky for you, girl. Next we have the amazing Gina Torres, Afro-Latina queen, baby. If you don't know who Gina Torres is, you've been under a rock. She isn't a huge character. However, when I did see her, I was like, oh, they got Gina. Yes, so I was very excited. She plays Selah's mother, and she plays like the overbearing,
I need you to get it together. I need you to succeed by any means necessary
sort of mother. Very well. She does that very good. Love you, Gina. We'll continue to support you, Afro-Latina queen. Lastly, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Jackson Avery. I mean, Jesse Williams. A reason why I'm laughing is because anytime I think about Jesse Williams now, I think about that one video of him on live and someone was getting robbed or something.
Barricade the door. You have a weapon. Do you have multiple weapons? And go into
Jesse!
Okay, all right.
Jesse!
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it gets a chuckle out of me every time. I think Jesse did a good job in this movie. He was the principal of Halswell School. I think he did good being the sort of
no nonsense, I need to uphold my reputation
sort of principal. So good for him. Good for you, Jackson. That's so terrible. I need to stop doing that to that man. In summary of the cast, I just like that the cast was made up of a lot of fresh faces, because even the supporting characters outside of the people that I named, a lot of new faces. I haven't seen them in anything before, and I love when people use fresh new talent, because it's just so clear when you see a cast and you know that either one or a decent amount of people in the cast were only casted because they needed names. They needed a name or they needed names to attach to this project so that it could get greenlit. And so it's just like, you know, like I just like, God, you know, let's take a risk, you guys. Let's get some fresh talent in these movies, especially fresh young black talent. I can get into a whole rant about how black girls do not get to be girls. We don't get to see us come of age. We never come of age. That is another reason why this movie is near and dear to my heart, because it is one of the few movies that feature like black teenage girls and they are doing like classic petty little high school antics, high school mean girl antics. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Since we're speaking about some of the characters, let's get into what I love about the characters, yeah? These characters, I like them. We'll start off with Selah. I enjoy Selah's character because she is just badass. Like, she is Regina George, but like subdued. She seems like the girl that's like, you know, cool, chill, whatever, but as soon as you strike a nerve, it's over, it's done. That's what I feel like I love about this character. She's complicated. She's complicated. You want to root for Selah. You want her to get it together because her mom is like up her ass about, you know, doing well in school. You feel sorry for her because you know she's under this immense pressure to be this sort of perfect Barbie doll. You see how that pressure affects how she interacts with people. Like, oh, what the fuck are you doing, girl? Like, why are you doing this? But you kind of know why. You don't agree with it, but you kind of know why, and that makes her complicated, and I love that. And then we have Paloma, who is our sort of shy, you know, new girl, you know, different, and Selah takes her under her wing, and you see Paloma develop. Once again, we are getting multi-dimensions. You see Paloma come out of her shell the more she gets close into Selah's inner circle, and the more that she gets involved with all the factions and things like that. You see her come into her own and sort of be like,
stand our fucking ground and shit.
and I love it. I love to see it. I love shy girl comes out of her shell trope. I don't know. I love that. I love that the relationship between Paloma and Selah is complicated. Like, it's not just, okay, we're friends, okay, let's do it. There's intricacies to this relationship. It's I just love a complicated, dramatic story. I love it. It gives it some meat. Give you some meat to chew on, you know? Now, let us get into the plot. So, I'm not going to get into detail about what the plot is exactly because I want you guys to watch the movie. But I will talk about the elements of the plot that I liked. I liked that this movie was centered around two black girls, Selah and Paloma, in a way. It's centered around them, but it's not like, oh my God, they're suffering sort of thing. I think that too many times when we see black women on screen, they're either a butt of a joke, somebody's support, or they're suffering, especially if they're dark-skinned. It was nice to see them not have to suffer because of the fact that they're black women. I mean, it's still, you know, there's drama, there's dramatic, so, you know, they're suffering in some ways. Their life isn't peaches and cream. However, you're not seeing them struggle because of the plight of them being a black woman, and that is sort of refreshing to see every now and then. Of course, as black people, almost anything that we do or produce or say or whatever, it's gonna be inherently about us being black because that's just our life. Our life is essentially centered around our unique black experience, and because of our black experience, of course, there's discrimination and things that we deal with in our everyday life because we are black. So you can't really make a movie without that being at least one of the themes, but it doesn't always have to be the main theme. You see, it doesn't always have to be dark-skinned black women just suffering on screen for everyone else's entertainment. Like, we don't, enough of that. We don't need any more. I want to see us be involved in drama and theatrics that isn't rooted in us being tortured. It doesn't have to be, you know, so dark all the time. And keyword being all the time. I do think that we do need to see stories of our plights, because if we don't have those sort of films, then people will feign ignorance. They'll be like, oh, I didn't know about that. So, I mean, it's good to make movies that display that sort of thing so people can't, you know, just try and deny outright that these are actual issues. But I think that we need to start filtering in some other sort of movies in as well, along with those movies. It doesn't just have to be those movies. We can also add in some other sort of styles of movies so that it's not just every single time we see people that look like us, it has to be us going through some sort of like traumatic event. Like, you know, sometimes we can have fun. Sometimes we can just go through regular sort of quirky problems, or like I said, with teenage movies, we can just be us going through regular mean girl sort of situations. It doesn't always have to be us, you know, being crazily traumatized. Just saying. So first, I just want to say braids. I need more Black women in braids in cinema. I need more of it. Braids are so beautiful. They're so cute. They're so fun. And you don't see it enough. I need more Black women with braids in TV shows and movies. We need to see it more. And another thing that I'm going to talk about is the fact that she wears a scarf. Do you know how many times we see Black women going to bed or laying down or whatever, and or getting in the shower, and they are just having their hair just out. It's just out. No, negative, negative, wrong, 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 wrong. It's not realistic. It's not realistic. Anyway, that was it. That's all I have to say about the, you know, wardrobe choice and stuff. I was just really proud and happy to see braids and scarves. I liked it. All right, guys, that was basically my sales pitch for everyone to watch this movie. This movie came out, I want to say, like 2019, and when it came out, I definitely saw people on my timeline talking about it, and some of like the film people that I follow on Twitter and stuff, they've definitely seen it, but I just don't think enough of the general public has seen this movie, and if they have, they're not talking enough about it, because I think this movie is proof positive that we have so much to offer in both acting skills and, you know, production and writing and directing. Like, we are capable, fully capable of doing these things and making it good and making quality art. And so I think that we need to be given more opportunities to showcase these talents and showcase what we can do, because it's not like we can't do it. But anyway, I will be back next time with something probably a little bit more lighthearted and humorous, you guys. Thank you for sticking in with me and watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye.